For 5 long years, Joel and Ellie lived in the safety of Jackson, Wyoming, trying to rebuild a life from the ashes of a broken world. But in Season 2, Episode 6, we finally see how that illusion of peace was shattered. Not by raiders, not by the infected, but by a single decision that revealed just how far Joel was willing to go to protect the people he loved. That decision, the killing of Eugene. It was a moment wrapped in grief, smothered in silence and soaked in betrayal, and now the truth is finally out. This episode doesn't just uncover a secret, it drags us through the emotional wreckage it left behind, in Joel, in Ellie, in Gale, and in us. Let's go back to the moment it all began. Spoilers ahead. Please take care. Joel promised Ellie her first real day outside Jackson's walls as an equal, not a child, not a passenger, but a partner. It was her 17th birthday. Joel even got the cake right this time. They laughed, they rode together like they used to, and for a little while it felt like maybe things between them were healing, but the world of The Last of Us doesn't give you moments like that without ripping them away. As they made their rounds, a horse galloped past, dragging a lifeless body behind it. A trail of blood led them to the last person they ever expected to see, Eugene. Eugene. The same man who once handed out pot to anyone who asked, the same man who left the fireflies when he got tired of killing. The same man whose wife Gale still counseled Joel with whiskey in hand and sorrow in her voice. But now Eugene was bitten, not turned, not yet. He had maybe an hour, 2 at best. He wasn't shaking. His mind was still clear. He begged, truly begged, for one last chance to say goodbye to Gale. Just a few minutes, that's all. And Joel promised him. Ellie believed Joel would keep his word. She went to get the horses, leaving Joel alone with Eugene, hoping they'd ride back together. That Eugene would get his final moment with the woman he loved, but when she returned, Eugene was gone. Joel had taken him into the woods, told him not to turn around, and shot him in the head. When they got back to Jackson, Joel didn't flinch. He told Gale that Eugene had made the choice himself, that he didn't want to risk infecting her, that he wasn't scared, that he ended things his way. It was a smooth lie, clean and polished, but the truth, as it always does, found its way out. Ellie couldn't stay silent. She couldn't let Joel bury another secret, not again, not after Salt Lake City. So she told Gale everything, that Eugene still had time, that Joel had promised to bring him back, that Joel had broken that promise, not because Eugene was turning, but because Joel believed he knew best. The slap Gale gave Joel wasn't just for Eugene, it was for the weight of all the lies that man had carried for too long. And then Ellie said it, quiet, broken. You swore. Not just about Eugene, about everything. Why did Joel do it? Why did a man who sang Pearl Jam for Ellie on her birthday, who spent weeks building a guitar by hand, turn around and execute an old friend? Because Joel doesn't just fear loss, he fears the slow, creeping kind. Joel is a man who once tried to take his own life after losing Sarah, a man who carried the weight of that failure for 2 decades. When he saw Eugene bitten, Joel didn't see a man with an hour to say goodbye. He saw a countdown, one that would end in agony, fear, and guilt. He wanted to spare Gale the trauma, spare Eugene the horror of losing control, spare himself the pain of watching it happen. But The Last of Us has always asked one central question: is it mercy if you take someone's choice away? Joel's answer has always been yes, and that's what makes him so dangerous. He did it with Eugene, he did it with the Fireflies, and in both cases he did it for love. When you look at Joel's decisions in context, a clear pattern emerges. He's not just protecting people, he's controlling the narrative of how they die. With Sarah, he couldn't do anything. She was taken from him. With Ellie, he refused to let the same thing happen again. When he learned the Fireflies would kill her to create a vaccine, he didn't hesitate. He killed everyone. And then he lied, told her there were others, told her they had stopped looking for a cure. To him, that was mercy. To Ellie, it was betrayal. With Eugene, it was the same, a man who still had time, a man who could have had one last moment of peace. Joel decided that wasn't safe enough, that it was better to end it early than risk watching him turn. But in doing so, he robbed Gail of her goodbye. He robbed Ellie of her belief in him. And worst of all, he robbed Eugene of his agency, again. And for Ellie, who'd spent years trying to forgive him for Salt Lake City, it felt like déjà vu. The aftermath of Eugene's death didn't just destroy Joel's relationship with Gail, it fractured his bond with Ellie permanently. Even when he tried to explain himself, even when he said it was the right thing to do, Ellie saw it for what it was. Another lie, another promise broken, another person silenced for their own good. And then, as if the universe wanted to twist the knife, Joel confessed everything, not just about Eugene, but about the Fireflies. She asked him point blank, "Were there other immune people?" He shook his head. "Were there raiders?" Another shake. "Could the Fireflies have made a cure?" He nodded. "Did you kill them?" He nodded again. The silence between them said more than words ever could. Joel told her he'd do it all again, that he made the choice because he loved her, that if she ever had a child, he hoped she'd do a little better than he did. Echoing the words his own father once told him, and Ellie, eyes filled with tears, said the hardest thing of all, "I don't think I can forgive you, but I'd like to try." That moment, that flicker of possible redemption, was the last real conversation they ever had. Because not long after, Abby killed Joel, and that was the end. What makes episode 6 so gut-wrenching isn't just that we see Eugene die. It's that we finally understand what Joel was wrestling with in those last years. He wasn't a monster, but he was a man who made monstrous choices out of love. And for Ellie, love like that, a love that kills in the name of protection, became unbearable. This episode retroactively colors everything we've seen between them in Season 1, the hesitation, the distance, the heartbreak. We now know why Ellie left the porch, why she moved out, why she kept him at arm's length. And yet, when she came back to ask for the truth, when she said, "I'd like to try," it was a flicker of hope, one that never got the chance to grow. It's easy to forget Eugene in all this. After all, this episode is mostly about Joel and Ellie, but Eugene's story is the tragedy that ties everything together. A man who walked away from the Fireflies because he couldn't take the killing. A man who hid his past behind humor, weed, and one last shot at love with Gail. He didn't get to say goodbye. He didn't get to hold Gail's hand one last time. He got a bullet and a lie. And all of it, again, because of Joel. Joel killing Eugene wasn't just a mistake. It was the mirror image of what he did at Salt Lake City. The same justification, the same pain, the same consequence. He made the choice because he loved someone. And like every time before, that love came with a cost. For Eugene, it was his life. For Gail, it was the truth. For Ellie, it was the last thread of trust she had left. And for Joel, it was the moment that made forgiveness impossible until it was too late. In a world where every choice could mean survival or heartbreak, Joel's decision to kill Eugene might have been born from mercy, but it planted the seeds of Ellie's rage, grief, and need for truth. As Season 2 unfolds, we see not just the cost of vengeance, but the price of a love that protects at all costs. If this episode broke your heart too, like the videos, subscribe for more Last of Us deep dives, and let us know in the comments. Do you think Joel was right to make the call, or did he doom Ellie's faith in him for good?